it was my first trip to Africa, I came back home and I wrote a big essay, and I started saying, what does it feel to return to a place that you have never been before? And I knew that it was or a wrong question in English or a wrong question in general, because what this contradiction of returning to a place that you have not been. But my question really was saying, how could you return to a place that you always were there, you never left, even when you have not been there yet before? And that is the structure and maybe the paradox of being Cuban from the province of Matanzas, from the town of La Vega, a sugarcane plantation in the municipio of Manguito, in the center of blackness in the island of Cuba. That is what my experience comes from. This is what I was formed as an artist. And by the time that I left Cuba, I was just too mature, maybe, too grown up to understand any other way. So I was so absolutely delighted when I was invited to talk about Global Africa, because it has been always in the core of my question, in the center of my work, and I always could have posed the question in reverse. Local Africa, wherever you are, if you have it in your soul. So I'm going to stop that and let the video run, and we're going to come back to the stage. What a pleasure it is to share the stage with Steven. What a nice dream coming true to be here. And we have this conversation in a cafe in Boston about the idea of memory and to how for me has been a question and a sort of a challenge to try to understand in this idea of the mobility of black body from the continent to elsewhere, and memory constructing a very important part of how we really remade, our own history. How do you give that materiality in the language of visual art? How do you make that tangible? So I was telling him that I say something at some point very briefly about memory being horizontal and feminine, and a line that always is there, that is invisible, but is always present. So I would say that, for instance, using glass, as I did in History of People, the town portrait in the glass door, or in Spoken Softly with Mama, with the irons, or in Meanwhile the girl were playing with the tree beds and all these flowers, which actually are a motif of a dress that had been taken away. I was trying to find a materiality of a source for what is this? What is memory? When my father was talking to me about his grandfather, he was making memory visible and tangible to me, because the grandfather was not there. And it was like telling, oh, he used to do, this is something that he used to tell me, your grandfather used to make baskets. And I was thinking, oh, maybe from that is that I have the genes for visual arts, craft work. So it was this, how to find, for me, how to find materiality and how to give these ideas context into the contemporary practice as well. And recently, a gentleman who is in research at Harvard passed to me an important body of information, and it was a log of photograph of a family from my ancestral group of people, Campos, from the province of Matanzas, who went back to Africa, to Nigeria, and established home in Nigeria. So they are a whole, I haven't got that part yet, but they are this amazing a conversation back and forth, and what I always saw that memory was the in-between, no?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
For me, it was like the link in between of that.